Welcome back to Melissa Talks, where we talk all things uniquely you, all the feels fall edition. And yes, we are one in football season, but more importantly, Gator football season, right? And so today's episode is all about the Florida Gators and football. Now, you all know after Christ, family, other important things, I am a huge football fan, right? And when it comes to Florida football, you're probably wondering, how did I become a Gator fan? Well, let me just give you a little bit of background. I am from Gainesville, Florida, so that one is the main reason. And then two, it literally is a family tradition. There have been some of us in the family that have gone outside of the Florida Gators and rooted for another school who will remain nameless in this podcast episode. So, it is again a family, thing. And so I truly love it growing up and just being there in the city and, going down to the stadium, back when before they even built the north end zone to where at one point you could see from the street into the actual stadium. That, when you're driving down University Avenue, the area that's covered now that you can't see inside was not there when I was younger. And so there were times when we obviously would go down there. We went to games more so when I got older, not when I was younger, but we would go and we would just, walk by and we could drive by and we would see some of the game going on inside. Just, a day that's filled with football and a lot of pastimes with family. We're in our orange and blue, things like that. And so it was just really a good time growing up. So, that is how I became a Gator fan. Did I go to the University of Florida for school? No, I did not. I didn't even apply because by then I was ready to leave Gainesville. But I did go to Santa Fe College and receive my AA degree and then transferred to Florida A&M University. Go Rattlers. So I am a Rattlers fan as well. But today is about the Gators. Now, I'm going to get into how we are doing this season, good people. If you are any type of fan with college football, at least, and the SEC, which is the Southeastern Conference, you will know that right now this team, my team, sits at the bottom of the rankings in the SEC matchups. And this is crazy because it has been a while where we've been this bad. Now, I must say last year, we started out rough like this too, but we were able to turn it around and finish out and go to an actual bowl game and win the bowl game. So that was a plus, right? Because even back then, everybody was calling for Napier's head, and everybody's calling for him to be, let go now as well and bring in the next backup quarterback. And right now we have Lagway who's still in there. We had a bye last week, and our record right now is 1-3. Once again, people, we're at the bottom of the rankings when it comes to the SEC. So we are third from the bottom. Auburn, thankfully, is below us, and so is Kentucky. So, we're not too bad there, which is a great thing. But overall, it's just at this point, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen at this point. They had the bye, and I'm really hoping that, one, that Napier has gotten, for lack of a better word, a handle on these players. Players now have, it seems in many of these locker rooms, yeah, they have this NIL money. Maybe that makes them a little more, indispensable because hey, I can go somewhere else and make this money. Excuse me, make them more dispensable. Yeah, indispensable, sorry. Because they feel like they have now, I have options. There is the transfer portal. If I'm not gonna get to play here because you want to, XYZ, um now I don't want to say threaten, but chastise me or reprimand me for spitting on somebody in a game, which happened, and these multiple penalties, some from fighting and doing just stuff that makes absolutely no sense, personal fouls. Like, just why? Why? You cannot win football games with multiple penalties, not just from, there being a play and there maybe was a holding call or, pass interference or something. No, these are stupid personal fouls with them doing something that, why would you do that, right? So it's like, where's the discipline in the actual locker room right now? And it seems like it's missing. And again, I alluded to the fact that many are, players are getting NIL money. Not everybody, but many of them are. And at this point, they're like, okay, I'm going to do what I want to do because if I can't do it here, somebody else may want me at another school. I can hop into the transfer portal and still make money from sponsors or even that school to make a difference over there. But overall, it really is hurting right now what's going on with our team. And so keeping that in mind, I do want to, one, just correct myself here. I said that Auburn and Kentucky were below us in the rankings right now with the overall standings. And so, excuse me, when it comes to how many games they've won. So we are at the bottom. Sorry. We are at the bottom. Auburn has won 3 games and lost two, and Kentucky has won two and lost two. We have lost one and lost three. So I do apologize for that. We're absolutely at the bottom. Okay. All right, there we go. Yeah, we're at the bottom. I'm sorry, I crack up myself here if you're listening to this because I'm just like, wait a minute, I'm so excited about it and I looked at it wrong. But overall, like, what can we do to turn things around? We've had an off week, and again, I'm really hoping that during this off week that it was looked at like, hey, we've got to do better. Maybe some, disciplinary actions was done, just anything to say, hey, we've got to truly focus in and win some games. Now we have this next game coming this weekend, and this is Texas. I believe we might have a shot against Texas. Yes, they have a new freshman quarterback there with Arch Manning and, yeah, Manning. Yeah. And hopefully, his newness and experience or noviceness will allow us to kind of exploit that and maybe win this game or have a closer game and, to winning. So that is my hope this time around. And I'm going to remain hopeful for this Saturday. But if they don't win, I'm serious, people. We really need to look at and you don't want to do a coaching change in the middle of the season. I get that. And yes, some schools have done that. And I think UF has done it multiple times. So, we might have to look at that. I don't know if it's going to really change anything, but we can see, especially, in the immediate future. But definitely, if it comes to quarterback changing, we can look to do that. Like, let's just try it and see. The backup came in before and he did very well in one of the games. I mean, let's see what he has to offer now. Other schools have done quarterback changes mid-season and it works sometimes. And if it doesn't work, then you're stuck with what you got, right? But overall, that is where I am right now, really wanting to hopefully, see our team succeed here, do better than some of our rival teams that we are going to be facing here soon because our schedule does not get any easier, not any easier whatsoever. And so, that is really my hope. But all in all, I am, of course, a huge fan of the team. I will always remain faithful to the Florida Gators and all that, we're looking to do here. Am I going to any games this year? No, I'm not. My plan was to maybe go to Florida, Georgia game or maybe get one in the swamp, but we're not going to go to any this year. And I know, I'm kind of thinking, I don't want to waste money and it's just not. I want to go to a game where I believe they're going to win, right? And that's not always the case. If you're a fan, I know you're going to go win, lose, or draw, right? I get it. I get it. Don't come for me. I get it. But no, not this time. So we are headed to see, FAMU play in a couple of games this season. So I'm excited for them and my actual alma mater. So yeah. This was pretty much it. Not much this week. I am going to get into more football in the NFL. in my next episode. And I'm really rooting for our Jaguars. I don't want to give it up right now because I really want to see how we do this coming Monday Night Football. We're playing against the Kansas City Chiefs, and I got a lot to say after that game. I'm really hoping that they pull it out. So I'm going to hold off on talking about NFL and the team that I am trying to be a fan for in the NFL, and that is our Jacksonville Jaguars. So, this is Melissa Talks, where we talk all things uniquely you, all the feels, fall edition. Until next time, bye.